Hi everyone, welcome to Becky's Crafts and Goodies. I hope you're okay. Now we've got another upcycling video here for you, and I can teach you how to do a bit of furniture flipping, take an old piece of furniture and give it a new lease of life. So hopefully I can teach you a new trick or two. So I bought this table from a charity shop and it was just literally £15. So Courtney wants it for her room. She'd like black, so obviously I'm used to doing sort of creams and shabby chic colours. So it'll be a bit different for me, which I think would be quite nice. And she wants to kind of incorporate gold colours in there as well. So I'm going to do it quite simply. I'm not going to fuss about with it too much. Now the chalk paint that I'm going to use, let me just bring the camera down here, is the Frenchic. And they only really had the alfresco in the shop, but you can use that inside and outside, and it is weatherproof. You don't actually have to put a top coat on this as well, so it should make it easier and a bit quicker for us. So I'm using the blackjack because she wants the black. Now these are really great if you've got the Frenchic, just to get one of the can openers, because they make life so much easier. So I'll just pick one of my chalk paint brushes. If you're not familiar with chalk paint brushes, this is what they look like. You can get various different sorts. Obviously I've used lots of these in here. You can see all the different colour projects that I've done. This one here is an Americana decor one. You can use them for wax and things as well. Let's just show you this one. That's a Vintage with Grace one. But a lot of these you can put wax on. Let's just show you, this is a wax brush. So but yeah, you can get all sorts of things. What I tend to do is, if I've used them for wax, I would say so, because you don't want to then sort of forget and then use them for paint. Start now with this unit, all I've done is I've given it a wash down. It wasn't really dirty. It has actually been upcycled before. If I just go under here, you can see the old colour under there. So it has actually sort of had an attempt at shabby chic with a little bit of like distressing and aging on it. So we're going to go over the top with the black and give it a totally different look for Courtney's bedroom. So we'll have a good old look in this. Actually, let me give it just a bit of a shake first. I'm doing this on my dining room table, but I've put an old bed cover down, so hopefully that should protect the table. Right, so I'm going to use one of my older brushes, because perhaps once it's had black on, it's not really going to be tricky to get out. So literally, it is just a case of painting it on. So chalk paint is a really easy paint to use. You don't really have to prep with it, and it hides a multitude of sins if your painting's not very good as well. So to start with, I'm going to take the drawer out. Just pop that to one side, and then I'm going to start with the painting. So I don't know how many coats it will need. I'm guessing 2. It is, do you know, this alfresco paint is a different consistency to the other stuff that I normally use. I did want the other one. I can't remember what it's called now. Is it Lazy Days? I can't think what it's called, but this is all they had, and it has been quite difficult to get the Frenchic chalk paint. I think they put their prices up recently as well, and it's been quite difficult to get around here. I've been trying for quite a few weeks. I didn't really want to go for another make either. I do like Vintage with Grace paint as well, but you can, as it's going on, see it is different to the other stuff. I'm just hoping it goes on okay, because I don't like the look of it at the moment, but I'm sure we'll be fine. So what I'm going to do, as always, is paint over this. I'm going to let it dry. I'll show you it after one coat, and then we'll probably do another, well, we will not probably, we will do at least another one, possibly 2, and we'll make a start. So it's had one coat. It's just going on really weird in comparison to the chalk paint, but it'll be fine. So what I'm going to do now is to put some paint on the drawer front. I was going to try and change the knobs on this, but they're not ones that you can take out, so they won't unscrew, so I will just have to paint them gold, so we can't obviously change those. You can, if you want to as well, paint the inside of the drawer I might paint that a different colour. Might do that gold. I'll see as we go along, but the front is going to be black. And once this has dried, then I'm going to do another coat over the top, and I'll show you what that looks like then. We've come into the craft room now. The paint's drying. So what we're going to do is to make some moulds. Now, these are the redesign with Prima moulds, and this one's Thornton Medallion. So what I'm going to do, you probably can't see it so much on here because I've used this mould before, but I'll show you on the picture. So I'm going to put this one in the middle of the drawer. So you've got the little knobs either side, and then these I'm going to put on the side on the actual unit itself. So we need one of each doing. Just going to pop them in there. So I'm going to be using this Das air drying clay. I'm just hoping it's okay. I've stored it with a bit of cling film in a plastic tub, so I'm just hoping that it's okay still. I think it should be, and I should just have enough as well. So what you also need is a bit of corn flour, because that helps with non-sticking, and something to roll it with as well. So we'll just press this into the moulds, and we'll let those start and dry. So yes, the clay has kept, I think, quite nicely. Just going to dust the I was going to say a light dusting of corn flour, but too much came out of the packet, so it kind of went everywhere. So what we'll do, it's always tricky to gauge how much you're going to need when you're doing these sort of moulds, but it's not until you've kind of done the first one that you sort of get a bit of an idea how much you need to put in. So just roll a little bit out just to give me a bit of an idea. Okay, so I'm going to press this into the mould. Right, so what I do is take a piece of clay that's big enough for the mould and use my finger and just push it into the mould there. And then with my thumb, I sort of go in a pushing motion just to the edge of the mould, just to sort of get the edge parts off. You can roller it at this point if you want to, but then I tend to get a tool if I've pushed it in with my fingers or thumb, and just use that to slide along the top. And then I use my fingers just to smooth it and make it all nice and flat. Okay, so I think this clay has seen better days, but it should be okay to use. So I've just smoothed it over with that and cut some excess bits off the top, and then just bend it out like that. And if you've got any bits, can you see here, that are kind of extra, you can just take those little bits off. I'm going to leave that to dry on the flat, and I'll make the other one, make sure I make the opposite one and the one in the middle, and then we should be able to do the next step. This has had 3 coats on now, and it's not drying too badly actually, so we're just going to do a little bit more to the drawer. I've had a bit of a slight change of plan. We've done 3 layers on the actual unit itself, and with regards to the drawer, I was going to paint the side bits a different colour, but the gold that I've got doesn't look very good, so I think what I'm going to do is just paint it black, because it's got this horrible, like, wow, it's like a browny green. We do need to put something on it, so all I'm going to do is use some more of the alfresco. Incidentally, this is the Vintage with Grace black one. It's called Mr. Darcy, so if you wanted to try that. But I'm going to stick with the same, obviously, black that I've been using. And I might even change plan again and paint the knobs black and then just put gold on them afterwards, because I don't think the gold I've got is going to stick to this very well. So I think I'm just going to literally paint it all black, and then just, you know, put some golden bits on for sort of an after effect. As I say, I would have liked to have changed the knobs on it, but they won't come off, so I'm not going to bother trying to fiddle about. But we can make it look nice. As I say, this is quite a basic upcycle. As far as upcycles go, I did want to do like a crackle effect on it, but she just wanted it black and gold. She didn't want me to get too fancy, so I will do what she likes really, because obviously it's for her room. So I'll give this a couple of coats in here, let that dry. The other stuff's come out okay actually, the other part of the unit, that looks okay. So we'll get this done and I'll paint the knobs black. And once that's done, we can start to sort the mouldings because they're drying a little bit. Right, now we're going to pop the moulds onto the front. Now they've not completely dried, and I like to put them on before they've completely dried because sometimes when they're rigid, if they're not flat, they don't sit on properly. So what I've done is I've marked it very lightly with a pencil so I know exactly where it's going. It has started to crack a little bit, but I think if we can get it on now, I think we should be fine, and it will finish drying it and it will just set on there absolutely fine. So what I'm going to do, you can use some wood glue, that goes on. You can use some Gorilla Glue, that also works. My brother gave me this actually to try. It's Mitre Bond. I think this is going to be the best thing. I think it's completely right. So apparently you can get it from Screwfix. So you put this on one side and then you put the spray activator on the other side. So it's basically a similar kind of idea to this, whereas you use water and then they bond together. So this is a similar kind of thing. He showed me with like 2 lolly sticks and they stuck really, really well. So we're going to use that method on this. I've just got to be careful. You know, this is quite delicate. Now I've got some bits around the edge of the mould and I'd really like to clean up, and I would use probably maybe a nail file or something like that, but it is really delicate. It's not dried properly, so I'm going to leave it as it is. It's not too bad. I've done a little bit. So now I'll show you how to use the spray. So I'm going to very carefully take this off and pop it down there. Now what I've done is I've made 2 little marks here with my pencil, just so I know where the corners are going to be, and I'm going to pop some dabs of this on the back. Now my brother said you don't need a lot, so just maybe just see how fast it comes out. Just a few dabs as we sort of go along. We'll do sort of some corner bits. I'm probably putting too much on. He's only watching this going, no. So, let's do that. And the good thing about this is it sets really quickly. So if we were to use the other method, you know, with the glue, it would take a lot longer. So what we need to do now is to give this a little shake, and he said, I've probably put too much on there. Oh, he said don't put too much on. I think that might be too much. Okay, right, we're doing this together. I'm going to fold this over, and I'm not directly in front of the camera because I've got the tripod here. So I'm going to try and lean over. It's starting to crack a little bit. There we go. I think that's level. He said once it's on, it's on. So he said you can't move it when it's on. So that's where it's staying. So that's going to glue on there. And I think I've caught a little bit of glue on the edge there, but we can get that off. So that's going to dry. Do you know what? It's started to set already. That is super quick. He is completely right. That is dead quick. And then we can start to paint over that pretty quickly. Whereas if we did like the PVA glue or something like that, we'd have to probably wait overnight, and it's just waiting. I hate waiting for craft projects. So that's that. We're going to do the other thing, the other bits and bobs on here as well. So I'll move this to one side. Right, so we'll pop these ones on here now as well. So they're going to go on the side, and very carefully I'll see if I can file some bits down, but you know what, I'm not too fussed because when they're painted you're not even going to see. I think if I was keeping them white it would kind of matter more. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just measure where I'd like them to go. get my pencil, and I think I'll mark the top part there and the top part there, and maybe I'll just eyeball these, and I'll just mark this one the same. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll get our mould in, pop some dabs of the glue on, and I worried using the spray whether it would damage the paintwork, but it doesn't. It just dries clear, you know, the spray that you put on. So spray. I think I put too much on. And then straight on like that. Just sticks so quickly. Look at how quickly that's stuck. That's scary. Why are things like this so scary? Okay, we'll do the same thing the other side. Like, that is weird how quickly that sticks. Like, what sticks that quick? This is a game changer. Right, I'll do the same thing here. So it's a Saturday afternoon. I started this on Friday or Thursday, I can't remember. And all the kids are out, here with the dogs, and do you know what? I'm as happy as anything. It's great doing projects like this, that you can just sit and have a little bit of time, do something that you, I thought I was in the right place, do something that you enjoy doing and have a nice bit of peace. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Right, let's stick that and hold that on there for a few seconds. Oh my God, it is stuck. Do you know what? Thank you, Simon, my brother. There, they're on. Okay. I think I can start and paint the drawer now, you know. I don't really think you have to wait that long. Right, let's paint the drawer. I really like the black and white look. I'm just going to paint this over though, because obviously Courtney wants it gold, but if you wanted it black and white, you could obviously paint this mould in like a white colour, and it would look really nice if you did like different paint effects on the black, sort of like, I don't know, you know how we've done sort of blending? That would look really, really nice. But I promised I'm not going to go fancy. I'm just going to go, this is quite plain for me. But that would look really good. Obviously, these are not going to stay black because we are going to put some gold on them. I originally was going to paint them all gold, but I just think this would look nicer. So you've got to trust me on this one. I can't believe how quickly I can paint this. It's not budging, it's not moving at all. I'm a big fan of that glue. Right, so I'm going to paint this. Probably give it a couple of coats, even though it does look like it's covering quite nicely. And I'll paint the buttons on the actual unit itself as well. And then once that's dry, we can start and put the gold on. We're going to now put the gold on. Now, I've got a couple of different methods to show you. This is the Frenchic gold. It's like a wax that you can put on. And there's also some rub and buff. So it says wax metallic finish. That's right, it's got all bits over it, so I can't read it. So I use this quite often. In fact, I use both of them, but I'm just going to show you the difference on a piece here. So this side is the rub and buff, and that side is the Frenchic one. So that is obviously a little bit more delicate. Once that's on, we can kind of rub it and buff it, as the name suggests, but you can see the difference there. I'm going to go with this one because I wanted to stand out a little bit. So I'll just show you how I do it. So I just use my finger, oops, pop a bit on, And I'm just going to put some, let's get a little bit off there. I'm just going to just put some on, just some bits that stand up like that, just to really highlight some different areas. Right, so I don't know if you can see how it's made it sort of stand out. I think it looks really pretty. I think the gold looks so nice on there. I'm going to put some on these as well. Don't know what, I'm going to do it all. And then we'll do this side. And even if kind of a bit comes off or it's not on perfectly, I think it will still look really, really good. So there is that section. I'm going to just now do the other bit. Again, just get a bit on your finger, just go lightly with it. Just go over the raised sections. And you'll sort of pick out all the detail. Now what we're going to do is to add some detail around the edges. Now this is kind of a similar way that you do when you're antiquing and you're doing shabby chic. So we will get some more of the rub and buff, and I'm just going to put some just in certain areas. So here I've got the table on top of a table. So when I do the top, I'll lift it down so I can actually see what I'm doing a little bit clearer. But what we need to do is get your finger and you just literally going to rub very lightly in sort of certain areas some of the gold, and we just want to do it in sort of bits as we go along. I'm just gonna take the drawer out actually so we can get along like this. So I'll do the top part as well. So this corner here, I've just got to go on my tiptoes a little bit actually. Just going to very carefully get this edge here. I prefer to do this while it was on the floor, so I'm not going to do any more there. Obviously I'll go around the drawer and around these sections as well. Missing occasional little bits out. If you make a mistake, just sort of rub it off. You can always paint over it as well. And just start again. Obviously go down the leg. And that is it. So I'll finish the rest of this off camera because it'd probably be a bit boring for you. And then I'll show you how I've got on. There we go. So I've done the gold all the way around and sort of gone around the back, around the legs. And I really think the gold just brings out the black. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. So it's as simple as that. I will just give the gold a little buff in a little while, but that is literally it done. We don't need any top coat, any sealing for the paint because we've used the al fresco. So literally that's it all done. But I'm really, really pleased with how it's turned out. I'm sure Courtney will love it as well. And it just goes to show that you can pick up some bits from charity shops, thrift stores, Facebook Marketplace, eBay, anywhere like that. And you can really, really change the look completely and get yourself some furniture. And as you can see, we didn't even need to change the knobs on there. We just painted them and they're absolutely fine. So I hope I've inspired you to have a go. And if I have, please let me know in the comments down below. and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to like and also hit the bell so you get notified if I upload another video. But that's it from me. I hope you're all keeping safe and well, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.